Namaste, goddesses. Welcome to yet another episode of Planet Aphrodite with Meenal. And this Friday, as we are continuing the July series about understanding and exploring self-love, let me take you somewhere. A very simple question that our goddesses ask. And I have asked 10,000 times too. Okay, so it can look like very innocent one, like how do I look? Or if you have cooked a nice meal, it can sound like, how's the food? Or it could be the image that you posted, or your selfie that you posted on Instagram or Facebook. So, and you're waiting for the likes. Can you connect the dots? What I'm referring to? Yeah, you guessed it right. The topic for today is validation. Women in general, since childhood, every child tries to seek his or her parents' validation, like they are being a good boy, so they are permitted to have a particular gift or a toy, or maybe the good books of Santa Claus, so that they get something surprise, something nice for them. And it kinds of then gradually, as a person grows up, then people start seeking validation from their friends, from their teachers, and you grow up from your romantic partner. Then maybe you get married and then you seek approval and validation from your husband or spouse. So many a times it may appear very, very, very innocent, very, very non-threatening, but it becomes an addiction. And somewhere there are times wherein a lady asks a question very innocently, like, how do I look in this dress? And maybe the other person, for the sake of fun or just pulling the leg or just being in a lighter mood, says something, and people tend to take it personally. And then they will go, maybe they will change the dress, or maybe they will spoil their mood or something like that. So I have done similar things in past, wherein something that I did and I was seeking an approval of. It could be looks, it could be food, it could be dress, it could be accessory, it could be haircut, it could be the image that you posted, it could be the YouTube video that you posted, it could be an Insta story where you didn't get enough views or likes. Somewhere you tend to relate that with your self-worth. Okay, you want to connect these two. Like if it got a lot of likes, or if you got a lot of compliments in the party, that means you were looking good. And if you didn't get enough compliments or enough likes or enough comments, maybe you didn't do a good job. So first of all, you may want to consider is give yourself an approval that whatever I'm doing my best. And then you can seek feedback, not necessary validation. And if you're looking for validation, you can do a small trick. Instead of how am I looking? I'm looking good, isn't it? Okay. So you have said you already looking good. So it is difficult. It becomes slightly difficult for the other person to say, no, you don't. When you say, how am I looking? I mean, they can answer either ways, but when you say, isn't the food great? Isn't it? Yes. And even if they say no, you have already validated yourself that yes, the food that you cooked was great. Similarly, when we go in a professional setup, again, stop seeking validation, though it is always important and good to have a nice constructive feedback. But as a woman, many a times goddesses tend to seek validation, and they do not even realize that seeking validation has become an addiction. Not in an addiction way, but definitely in a way which is not improving or increasing or empowering their self-love. So it's very important to understand, first of all, being aware that Yes, this is something I tend to do more often than I would like to do. Or if you, so other question that you may want to ask is, does everybody's opinion makes you or validates you or makes you a better person? So if the whole world is saying you're not good, will you believe in it? No. You should not. So everybody has their own taste, preferences, their own understanding and liking. And maybe their mood, they had a bad day at office or bad day with their friends. And they're just upset and grumpy about something and they chose to take it off on you. So don't treat it like the final word on earth. And if each one of us is a God's creation, we all are complete, whole, and perfect. Just go by that. First of all, you don't seek validation if possible. You ask for feedback, and either which ways, if you are going for a feedback, be ready. It could be good, neutral, or bad. When you are seeking validation, what you are largely looking at is some kind of approval, some kind of positive words from the other person. So that's the fine line between validation and feedback. So you understand which space you are coming from. Are you coming from a space of asking for a genuine feedback, which could be good, bad, and ugly, or a neutral one? Or you are seeking some positive words which kind of reaffirms that the other person loves you or care for you or want to make you feel special, or your friends are your real friends only if they like images on Facebook and WhatsApp or Instagram or wherever. You are good. And if somebody comments which is a genuine feedback but you're not ready to take it, it's perfectly fine to ignore that. As long as you're not ready for it, you're not going to do anything about it. So it's okay, just ignore that advice. It was not meant for you now. And maybe one day you realize that it was a genuine good advice, or maybe it was not meant for you anytime. I mean, it was just not meant for you. So just ignore it. It's perfectly fine. So many times we are not ready for a genuine advice. Only when we are ready, we will receive it and accept it and make the appropriate changes if required. And sometimes the way a person says that, we tend to get into that rather than what is being said. So that's another thing. So you take out the behavior and intent differently. So if the intent is good, which by and large, most of the people have a very, very, very good intent. So just appreciate the intent and do not get stuck on the behavior part. It's easier said than done. I mean, I fail every day on this. Let me be very honest to you. But it's something that I realized and I felt for this week. I want you to every day be mindful of what is it that you're asking, and you're coming from a space of feedback or you're coming from a space of validation. And also your behavior is molding your children's behavior. So unconsciously or consciously, you are modeling, we all are modeling our parents, and we tend to get culturally, to seek validation from others, sometimes elders, sometimes friends, sometimes bosses, sometimes teachers, sometimes spouses, and it could be just a model behavior. So if you can check this, behavior right now, you might help your child not getting into the validation mode. So it will be a very good thing to work upon as a parent point of view. Then you'll be raising children who are just complete, whole, and perfect in themselves, and they are not seeking any external validation. And at the same time, let them be aware about the feedback, so that they are open to improve, they are open to change. And if it doesn't work for them, then it's all right. It's perfectly fine not to do it. So, goddesses, this was today's session regarding validation. So, for self love, it's a very, very crucial key that we stop seeking any validation. It will only come only if we live in a space of self love, in space of self worth. Otherwise, if we come from a space of low self-love and low self-esteem, it's very, very likely that we develop this kind of a habit. And we are not aware, like I was not even aware that I had this challenge within me. And as I told you earlier, I fall every day, like every day we all fail. But as long as you're aware, you can make a progress. If you're not aware, then we'll just keep in the infinite loop. We just keep working there. So thank you so much for tuning in today, and I would love to know your I'm seeking feedback, let me tell you. Perfect. So I would love to hear more from you. What do you like about the channel? What changes you would like to have? See you next free day, the day we choose to get closer to our freedom. And bye-bye for now. Namaste. Take care, stay safe, and let's increase the dose of self-love, because self-love can cause miracles.